RT, meanwhile, is reporting that Israel could strike Iranian nuclear facilities, according to CNN, a US media outlet. The chance of an Israeli military strike on Iranian nuclear facilities has gone up significantly in recent months, CNN reported on Tuesday, citing multiple US officials familiar with the intelligence assessments. While Israeli leadership has not made a final decision, recently intercepted communications suggest that the planning is actively underway. Unnamed sources have told the network. US intelligence has also noticed Israeli military activities, including the movement of air munitions and the completion of air exercises, which could indicate preparations for an imminent strike. Several officials acknowledge that these actions might serve as a strategic signal to Iran, aiming to pressure Tehran into concessions during the ongoing negotiations with Washington. However, one source cited by CNN warned that the prospect of a Trump negotiated US-Iran deal that does not remove all of Iran's uranium makes the chance of a strike more likely. US President Donald Trump tear up the 2015 UN-backed agreement on Iran's nuclear program during his first term in office, and now very same Trump is at least formally for public tries to achieve another agreement with Iran, and they're based on what we are receiving from Washington and Tehran. We can say that unfortunately chances that sides will reach some agreement anytime soon is slim to none, because the US is demanding complete dismantlement of Iran's nuclear facilities where uranium enrichment process is taking place, and Tehran's principal position is that they are not building no nuclear weapons, they have no plans to build nuclear weapons, and therefore they are not going to get rid of any nuclear facilities. They want to be fully independent when it comes to their nuclear program, and that includes maintenance of their facilities where the centrifuges are located to enrich uranium for civilian purposes. So when positions of sides are this different, I don't know how they gonna find the compromises, and because of it, and because of the many other indicators, I'm for quite a while saying that US is getting closer and closer to direct conflict with Iran, and maybe Israeli preparations actually gonna be part of this potentially upcoming large-scale attack, military attack on Iran. Israel might initiate this attack, then obviously Iran will retaliate, and US might get involved at that point, or who knows, maybe Israel and the US will attack simultaneously. This any such information will be classified, of course, and we will only learn about it after the fact. But in any ways, this is disturbing news, of course, because strike on Iran's nuclear facilities means war on Iran, right? It's a regional war in that case, which is going to be totally devastating for Middle East and the rest of the world too. It might even provoke world war. So, of course, this is extremely dangerous. And when it comes to position of Iran, dear friends, I'll give you this news that Iran's supreme leader warns the US to not threaten Tehran over the uranium enrichment. Khamenei stressed that no one is waiting for permission of US or anyone else what to do and how to do when it comes to Iran's nuclear program. Tehran will make decisions on their own. It's a principled stand, by the way. It's not just the supreme leader of Iran, but also Abbas Araghchi, foreign minister of Iran, who said that topic of enrichment of uranium is out of question for Tehran. It's also president of Iran, Pezeshkian, who also said that Iran will not compromise on this matter. And now supreme leader is also saying so. I mean, theoretically speaking, I can see ways for out of this deadlock, kind of, because I believe Russia, China, India can help Iran with their supplies of nuclear rods or nuclear fuel, basically, for its nuclear reactors, if Tehran will agree to dismantle its enrichment program. But point is that most likely everybody in Iran is 100% sure that if Iran will agree on that, then U.S. demand will be even higher, and U.S. might demand complete dismantlement of a nuclear program, which means reactors also that generate electricity, because most likely Tehran knows perfectly well that U.S. is not honest in these talks, and they are just buying some time for before they prepare attack on Iran. And that's why probably Iran is this principle on the topic of uranium enrichment. They simply don't believe that US is honest in these talks. And I mean, I don't even know what can be done in this regard. By the way, if Iran was building atomic bombs, if Iran was planning to do so, trust me, all the neighbors of Iran, Russia, Pakistan, countries in the Gulf, Arab countries in the Gulf, and just every neighboring country and every country in this region would raise their concerns. But because Russian intelligence knows perfectly well, for example, that Iran is not building non-nuclear weapons, Moscow is saying nothing, right? Why other countries are saying nothing? Everyone has intelligence, right? So therefore, clearly, there is too many indicators that US is just not honest. US also knows perfectly well that Iran is not building no atomic bombs, no nuclear weapons, but for whatever reason, they are still, coming up with their demands that Iran cannot meet. Why? Just because they are just buying some time before they will prepare a military operation. And at one point, when they are ready, Washington will say that they tried diplomatic ways, it did not work, so they're gonna resolve now through military action. That's what is happening, and everyone, at least I understand this. That's how I see the picture. Maybe you disagree with me, dear friends. Share your opinion in the comment section, but I think US is preparing big time for a war with Iran. And on this very topic, dear friends, I'm going to share this information with you that leadership of Afghanistan, by the way, made a comment about topic of US is getting back into Bagram airfield in Afghanistan. So Trump's statement about the US intention to return their Bagram air base is an absurd way to posing the question. The deputy head of Afghan foreign ministry told RIA Novosti. US president recently spoke about Washington's intention to preserve this base in Afghanistan, which was used by the US militaries from 2001 to 2021, when US forces withdraw from this country. And you might ask her, what is the connection between Iran nuclear deal and this air base? And well, there is in my personal opinion, there is direct link between these two, because Afghanistan is bordering Iran, by the way. And if you take in account all the steps that US is taking in the Middle East, including this topic of attempt of Washington to, get back to Bagram airfield, to me personally clearly indicates that US is preparing for a large-scale, massive strike on Iran. And US is clearly trying to encircle Iran. And that's why, by the way, one may argue Washington is trying or even rushing developments in terms of de-escalating with Moscow, because they know perfectly well that if US will attack Iran, lifeline and relationships are not resolved with Russia, Moscow will support Iran with whichever way is possible, right? And to avoid this, at least partially, Washington might try to reach agreement with Moscow before attack take place on Iran to make sure that Caspian Sea not going to become a main lifeline for Iran during that war. So US is encircling Iran, by the way, from all sides. Clearly attempt is there. And I personally have no doubts that this topic of US regaining control of the Bagram airfield is also connected, first of all, with Iran. Some may argue that, well, China is also not far away, and maybe this is connected with China. I mean, both can be true, isn't it? But first priority for US is Iran, as far as I understand, right now in the current situation. Yet again, dear friends, share your take. As you know, I'm reading comments and trying to react on them, and so I would like to see what is your take on this matter and many other topics, dear friends. And when it comes to Middle East, I want to share with you this information that there was an attack on Russian Khmeimim air base in Syria. A report came yesterday about it. I shared some videos of this attack. And today, Russian media outlets reported that at least 3 terrorists were killed near the Russian air base, terrorists that were participating in these strikes. So Russian military forces have prevented an attempt by suicide bombers to penetrate the Khmeimim air base in Syria, killing 3 of their attackers. Russian military, according to the Mash Telegram channel, early in the morning of May 20, 4 suicide bombers attempted to break through the military facilities' security. The attempt was thwarted. 3 attackers were killed in a shootout, and another terrorist escaped. So I don't know. Maybe Mash is mistaken, because in these videos, by the way, there is a long-range attack from a distance on the Russian base. Maybe when Russians neutralized these suicide bombers, other terrorists that were hiding somewhere not far away opened a fire towards their base. But in any case, this is of course a serious security concern for Russia. And one more reason why Moscow should withdraw Russian bases from Syria. From the moment Assad's government failed, I personally see no reason why should Russian militaries be presented in Syria and risk their lives, both for, right? I don't see no Russian interests in this, or interests of the Russian citizens. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think it's a good idea to maintain these bases there and give a leverage to Turkey, which might say that, you know what, it's only me that guarantees at least some sort of security for your bases, sir. I mean, why would you want to give Erdogan's regime such opportunity to, speculate on the matter? And we all know that this terrorist regime in Damascus is a proxy regime of Turkey, right? So maybe the defense ministry of Russian Federation will make some official statement on this matter. I did not see anything for now in public domain. If any updates, of course, I will share additional information. But well, things are escalating in Syria, and Marco Rubio, by the way, even spoke about this during his yesterday's hearing in the Senate. And he stated that Syria is likely on the verge of a full-scale civil war. U.S. State Secretary laments their country's current rulers did not pass their background check with the FBI. And I don't know, when he says this, was he trolling or he was serious? I mean, why question was even, why topic was even mentioned? After all, just recently, U.S. security services had $10 million bounty on head of leader of Damascus, this Turkish terrorist proxy regime in Damascus, right? So of course they would not pass no background check, not just in US, but in any country. These are terrorists, by the way. Terrorists, literally terrorists, right? And no matter how hard their collective West countries are trying to whitewash this terrorist regime, well, essence of it not gonna change, isn't it? But it is interesting that Marco Rubio stated that Syria is likely on the verge of full-scale civil war. This statement of Rubio may be addressed not so much to US senators, but to Ankara, to Erdogan's regime. And their message could be that Ankara should take in account position of US in many ways, in many areas, including in regards to Iran. Otherwise, they're gonna lose Syria, for example. Maybe that's the message that Washington is articulating. It's a possibility. And by the way, Turkey is also, of course, neighboring Iran, and Turkish assistance in case of attack on Iran for US will be big deal, obviously. And also one should keep in mind that Turkey has a strategical partnership with Azerbaijan, former Soviet Republic, which is located on the Caspian Sea. And maybe US hopes that if Turkey will be on the board with US during these attacks on during possible attack on Iran, then Turkey will use its leverage over Azerbaijan so that Azerbaijan will disrupt shipping in Caspian Sea so that it would not become a lifeline for Iran. There might be something like that in the minds of US analysts and whoever is working on the plans. Dear friends, I hope you like my work and want to help preserve this independent media project, and if so, let me go through several means that can be used for assistance. First is a PayPal platform. Once you click on PayPal link under my videos in description box and in the pinned comment, this account will open, which belongs to my wife Anna Philipson Caballero, so feel free to donate through this account. Second way is a Boosty platform where you can send a tip or donate, which is basically the same, and also you can become a Patreon for the project. You can subscribe to my page while choosing your level of support. Third way is a Patreon platform where I already have 370 extra content videos. You can also choose your level of monthly support from $5 to $10, $20, $50, $100 and become a Patreon, or you can use another feature that Patreon has, which is access to each videos for a certain amount of money. Now this is $3, so you can access to any video for $3. Relatively new feature that Patreon adopted, and it might be helpful also if for whatever reason you don't want to become a monthly supporter. And there is another way, which is a Rumble platform, dear friends. Whenever I have a pre-planned live stream or live stream is on air, you can become a premium subscriber. You can give premium subscription to other members of the community, or you can use a rant feature that Rumble has, which is basically similar to Super Chat on YouTube. All the links, dear friends, all the links to all these platforms that I just show you are under my videos in the description box and in the pinned comments, including address to crypto wallet. I hope this video will be useful in case you are considering support for my work and this media project. Many thanks to all the members of our community who already supported. Have a wonderful day and take care.